We are on the cusp of being able to fundamentally change the nature of this disease because of the way in which we're able to get vaccines in people's arms. We've been able to move that all the way up to the end of May to have enough for every American, to get every adult American to get a shot. And the last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it. It still matters.
And that was President Biden yesterday criticizing the decisions made by Texas and Mississippi to move ahead with rollbacks of their mask mandates. We're joined now by Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Tom Farley, Chairman and CEO of FARPEAC, joins us once again. He's still with us. Governor, it's great to have you on this morning. I know you've probably heard that mentioned I don't know how many times since the president used the term Neanderthal. Comments?
Well, first, of course, Joe, it's not the type of word that a president should be using, but candidly for him, he couldn't have used it on a worse day because the day he used that word, his administration has been releasing in South Texas immigrants who came across the border that they refused to test. It turned out there were more than 100 of them who had COVID. My point is this. The Biden administration has been releasing immigrants in South Texas that have been exposing Texans to COVID. Some of those people have been put on buses, taking that COVID to other states in the United States. The Biden administration must stop importing COVID into our country. That is a Neanderthal-type approach to dealing with the COVID situation. Another thing, however, Joe, that's very important, and that is these changes that we've seen in Texas are not really that transformative. Maybe to people in New York, it seems like this is a big difference. In Texas, we went from 75% to 100% occupancy. On the mask requirement, before now, there actually has not been any enforcement of the mask requirement. They made it a mask suggestion, which we continue to make wearing a mask a suggestion, and we urge all Texans to wear a mask when they are out. However, this important factor, Joe, and that is if you look at the spikes in the spread in Texas as well as elsewhere, the last spike occurred during Christmas and New Year's at a time when people were not transmitting it when they went to restaurants or businesses. The lead area of transmission at the time was in the home setting, where people were not wearing masks in the first place, and no one has ever mandated wearing masks in the home setting. And so the changes that we're talking about in Texas really are not that much different from where we've been. At the same time, if I could just quickly add, our numbers are at lows, 4-month lows in hospitalizations, in all the key metrics, such as the positivity rate. We're vaccinating. We vaccinated more than 1.2 million people over the past week. Yesterday was an all-time one-day record of 229,000 people. Our seniors who are most vulnerable to being hospitalized and losing their life, we have about 50% of our seniors vaccinated, so things are looking very good in Texas.
You mentioned the right at the top, the southern border. Depending on current administration officials, previous administration officials, there is a crisis, there's not a crisis. Can you fill us in on exactly, in your view, what's happening down there?
Sure. According to the information that's been provided, and there has been an increase in the number of people coming across the border, and we are expected to see that continue, whether it be those coming in right now or it could be the larger caravans that are coming. The signals sent by the Biden administration does nothing but encourage that to happen more. And let's put aside the whole immigration issue, and let's focus on this health care crisis, and that is we're dealing with a world pandemic, and we're bringing in people from across the entire world that the Biden administration is not adequately testing, not quarantining, not doing anything about to prevent the spread of a pandemic in Texas, but also putting these people on buses and sending them to places that could be near you or Atlanta or wherever. And so this is a very irresponsible and reckless approach by the Biden administration if they really are trying to contain the spread of a pandemic.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.